Hi and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new, welcome back if you're returning. I hope you're all well. So, completed pages video for the end of September 2022, and I've managed to do 16 this month, which I think is about average for me. So let's get going. Okay, so the first one, I played Coloropoly this month with Chronic Colouring Down Under. I will link her channel in the comments below. Basically with Coloropoly, it's like Monopoly, except they've kind of changed the property spaces to be specific colouring themes. So I had two roles in last month, and one of them was to colour an ugly bug or an ugly bird. So this is my ugly bird. And I went completely and totally out of my comfort zone with this one. I decided the leaves were not going to be green, they were going to be blue and purple, and I went crazy. And I kind of wanted the owl to be a snowy owl, which is why it's very, very kind of light browns, creams, that kind of thing. So I coloured this with polychromos. Then this paint is a Coliro watercolour paint in like blackberry. Lots of Posca pen outlining the leaves. And what else? Oh, and then the purple is actually Distress Oxide in the background. I think it's called Wilted Violet, I think it's called. And then I got a baby wipe and a stencil and just rubbed out some circles. So I wanted it to be a different purple than this. I wanted it to be the Seedless Preserves colour to kind of max the blackberry. But actually, I think it turned out quite well, and I just love the shine from that purple on the ring on the outside. I think that's that one. So that was my first one of the month. I've got quite a big stack of books here. Then there was a hashtag which I think was Samway's colouring, which was Transport Mania in September, and I did a double page in Daydreams. I've just got to find it. I don't know where it is. There we go. So yeah, this was quite an epic page for me, to be honest. So let me just see what I did it with. So all of the pencil work, so this here and all this, the water and the fish, is all Black Widows. The sky, it says Winsor and Newton, which I think I believe actually. It's Winsor and Newton on the sky, watercolour paints. There's Coliro paint in the moon. What else does it say? There's lots of Pentel Dual Hybrid in the fish in the sea, which I hope you can see. Lots of stickles, there's stickles on the mushrooms. And then there's lots of Posca, so all of this white on the boat here is all Posca pen. And then I did some splats with some gold watercolour, some white watercolour, and then you could maybe possibly see some very faint stars in the background and on the sky as well, and that's Pentel Dual Hybrid. But yeah, this boat and the whiting out of this just took me absolutely ages. But I really like the result, actually. I think it's really colourful. I like the way the moon's shining down and these look like slightly gold. I just think it's really pretty. And that was for hashtag Transport Mania. So that was Hannah Carzon's Daydreams. Then there's also one called a hashtag called Pumpkins Mania, which was Mary Full Colours. So I did my first one out of Mein Herbstspaziergang by Rita Berman. So that also went towards September Colour Your Hoard. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. I coloured this with, so the pumpkin is all with Arteza Expert and lots of Pentel Dual Hybrid. Then there's Silky Crayons in the Sky, which is kind of very pale blue. Then there's also Gelatos in the Sky. And then I put some stickles on the raindrops, and there's kind of Pentel Dual Hybrid and stickles on the raindrops. And then there's also some, I think it's Lunar Paste, Cosmic Shimmer Lunar Paste in the Clouds, which I'm hoping is picking up on the camera. Can't quite see very well today on my phone. But yeah, I really like it. Really like the pumpkin, the way that turned out. And there's lots of ones like this in this book. So there's like an apple and a pear. So there's the pear. And then there's an apple, which is very similar. So I'm really looking forward, there's the apple. So I'm really looking forward to doing more in this book. And that was my first one in the autumn book. And I'm looking at this to doing some of that in October. Then my next one was a buddy colour from another Vita Berman book. And that one from Die Welt unter der Lupe zu Wasser. So the world under the microscope, under the water. And this was a buddy colour with J.I. Colorist, so Jodie, and we decided to do this clamshell. Again, I went a little bit out of my comfort zone with this one, I think. So the pencil work in here is all Arteza Expert pencils. Then I use some Arteza metallic watercolour, which is this purple around, I'm kind of doing the wisp bits, and some golden watercolour. Then in the background I use Meek powder, which gives it this kind of shimmery, turquoisey water effect. And then I also put some Stickles glitter glue. I think it's called Pegasus, that one, in the background. So yeah, I will put Jodie's one just here. Hopefully that will pop up. So yeah, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that one. Pentel Dual Hybrid, Stickles, and I have done a bit on this page as well, because I think it's a double page, but I just didn't want to do that one at the same time. So yeah, lots of shimmer, lots of sparkle, lots of feelings of being under the water. So that was that one. Alright, just got to find another page on my colouring list. Hang on, there we go. Right, the next one I did was this page in Lulu Mayo's A Million Magical Creatures. So I decided to do something different and just colour it straight on the paper with polychromos rather than basing it in Bambino crayons. And I have to say, I really like the result. So I used polychromos for all of the pencil work. Then the foxes in the trees have some metallic watercolour. So I think one of them is like, I think it's called Cinnamon, Coliro, and then I think this one is Mars from KJ, designed by Karen's watercolour. And then the moon has also got some watercolour on, and that's I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's a mixture of silver and gold. I had a go at fur on the fox. I'll bring that up a bit so you can see. And I just had fun with autumnal colours, and I really like the result. Just seeing if there's and there's some Pentel Dual Hybrid on all the little things that these little dudes are carrying, like this fan, this book, the horns have all got Pentel Dual Hybrid, and this hat here. But yeah, it was just a really fun page, and I really like the black backgrounds in these books. So that was that one, A Million Magical Creatures by Lulu Mayo. Then I did one Enchanted Faces by Hannah Lynn, and this was Star Chasers. There we go. And I actually did this on a video on my YouTube channel, which I will link up here, because it showed how I used alcohol markers and then went over with pencils for shading. So I used Arteza Everblend alcohol markers for a base, and then I went over that with polychromos, and then I've also used some Sakura Jelly Roll for this silver in the background. What else did I use? Pentel Dual Hybrid, so there's a bit in her eyes here, a bit on the horn, don't know if you could pick that up, and then I think I used some Winsor & Newton iridescent medium on the wings, and I made sure that their wings were the same, and then I made these tights into fishnet tights because that's how I saw them. But yeah, I quite like that one. Turns out really pretty. And my daughter saw this as the same colour as I did. She said, "Oh, it's turquoise, Mummy." I went, "Yeah, I agree." So that was really funny. So that was that one. Then, what's that say? Oh, yes. So I did this one, the next one, during the Queen's funeral. For some unknown reason, I just coloured it all day. And it's this one from Maria Trolle's Nightfall. and it's one, again, this went for the hashtag Transport Mania on Instagram. So it's a lot of mice with lots of boats, and again I just went for autumnal colours with the leaves. So this was coloured with Black Widows. Then I used some Pentel Jewel Hybrid, which is like in the middle of the flowers mainly. I don't know if you can pick that up, but there's some here and there's some up here. Then the background is Neocolor 2. And then there's some white gel pens, kind of like these little dots that are coming round the boats. I really like the way this one turned out. It just came together really, really nicely, and the Neo colours worked beautifully and didn't go through to the next page. And I just really like the colours with the autumnal vibe to it. I was really feeling autumnal this month. So that was Maria Trolley's Nightfall. Then my other thing I got on Coloropoly was to colour something beginning with A. So this is from Hannah Lynn's Mermaids, Fairies and Other Girls of Whimsy, and I decided to colour Aussie Girl. So I thought, well, Chronic Colouring Down Under, she's from Australia, I will colour Aussie Girl beginning with A, couldn't be more fitting. So I did this one, really, really happy with this. Arteza Everblend as a base. Then I went over with Arteza Expert pencils, and they were just beautiful. Then there's lots of Pentel Jewel Hybrids on these buttons in her boots, just here, I don't know if you can see that. Then it says Magic Fly, but I don't believe that at all. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Then the background is Silky Crayons, which I use with a little makeup mixing brush. Then there's some stickles on the clouds, which I think you can probably just about see. What else? No, that's it. Really, really love the way this one turned out. I love her hair. I love the way her clothes look. The koala's super cute. It's really, really lovely, vibrant page. And I had a lot of fun. So that's that one. Then it says I did the Windmill. Oh, yeah. So I did... Next one after that is from Circle of Life by Melpomene Chatsipanagiotou. And this page had been calling me for a long, long time in this book. And it's this Windmill page. It's much brighter than I was anticipating it being. I will probably go back into this and just make these mountains a bit darker. I think I wanted them darker purple than they are. But I coloured this with Black Widows. I can't believe I did. I normally use polychromos in this book, but I probably wanted to try something different. So I coloured this in Black Widows. Then I used Inktense on the grass. And so I did all of the light green on the grass, and then I went over all these little tufts with darker green. Then on the Windmill, on the blades, I used a watercolour, which is KJ designed by Karen. Then there's some Blue Pearl Coliro watercolour in the clouds. Then there's some stickles from the sun rays. And what else? No, that's it. So it's much brighter than I was anticipating. I always saw the Windmill blades as being red flowers with a red roof and red shutters. I wanted the trees to be autumnal. And I just had a lot of fun. And of course, this went towards Pumpkins Mania because there were pumpkins in it. I had a lot of fun. It turned out, like I say, much, much brighter than I was anticipating. This blend here didn't quite go as I was anticipating it to be. But I really enjoyed it. I love colouring in this book. I absolutely adore it. And this one, like I said, had been calling me for quite a while. And I really like the way the Inktense worked. So I might start using my Inktense a little bit more. But yeah, had a lot of fun, and I made the birds into robins. So yeah. Much fun. Love Circle of Life. I'm going to have to do more in that one. Then I did a new book for me, which from Morgan O'Brien's Matchstick Mouse and Autumn colouring book. I'm going to be buying the Halloween one next month. And I put this on Instagram because I completely and utterly fluffed the background for this one. So my intention was that there would be a lot of blue lines going down the page, which would kind of fall in with the rain here. And I did it, and I absolutely hated it. And I've watched a tutorial on it this morning, and I think I did it wrong. I did it with a pen, and I think it really should have been with pencil. Or did I do it with pen? I did it with pencil, as you should have done. And then I added some gel pen and smudged it, so I was very cross with myself. But then I watched the video this morning, and I think I needed to be heavier here and lighter here, and maybe not go right up to the circle. So I am going to try it again. But so in the end, I was like, acrylic paint saves the day. So I was like, I'll just put yellow and that'll cover it. But it didn't cover it. The lines showed through. So then I was like, okay, well, I'll put some orange on it, and then I'll put some brown. And in the end, I think it looks like he's in a tree, a nook in a tree. And I put it on Instagram. I said I would completely fluff the background, but I think it looks a little bit by a tree. And Morgan O'Brien actually commented on it and said, yes, it is a unique background and it does look like a tree. So I was quite touched. But anyway, so this is Arteza Everblend alcohol markers as a base. Then I went over with Arteza Expert pencils, which I'm loving. Then there's Pentel Dual Hybrid for the raindrops inside the circle. Then the acrylic paint is Magic Fly Iridescent in the back, and I use like yellow, orange, and there's like a chocolate brown over the top of that. And then, yeah, like I said, the lines are pencil and gel pen. And then there's some glossy accents on her eyes. Apparently the mouse is a she, and she's a witch. I have been informed by my daughter and somebody else on YouTube. So there's some glossy accents on the spider's eyes and some glossy accents on her eyes. And my daughter is doing a different hat for each picture and going through the colour of the rainbow. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to change the hats according to how I feel. And for me, because it was rain, it felt like a yellow rain hat, even though it's a witch's hat. But anyway, so yeah, had a lot of fun with this. I'm really, really looking forward to doing more in this book. I mean, it looks a bit of a mess on the other side, but it hasn't gone through to the other image, so, you know, I'm happy. But yeah, it is quite unique. It is very, very blingy. But, you know me, I love a bit of sparkle. So, yeah, my daughter has started one where she's eating or drinking hot chocolate and cheese in her little house. Yeah, this one. She started this one. But that's the one I did for August. So, a lot of fun. And that went towards September Colour Your Hoard, because that was the first one I did in that book. Then I haven't coloured in Johanna Basford's Lost Ocean for quite a while. So I wanted to do something quite simple in here, because the ones I've got left in this book are just so detailed. And this one was really detailed, to be honest. So what I did is I actually got my fine liners out, which I haven't done for a long time. And this is all fine liners and gel pen. So all of these bits are Pentel Dual Hybrid, so they're all very sparkly. The fish and neon, there's lots of Pentel Dual Hybrid. And then the background, I actually got my Winsor & Newton watercolours out, and I was like, just want it to be very free, very kind of turquoisey green blue. And then I actually got my Art Spirits Mermaid Dust to go over the top. So I don't know if that's picking that up. But I really enjoyed that, and I'm going to have to get some wax paper because sparkle is transferring. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this page, and I quite like it, actually. Very different for me. So yeah, that was from Johanna Basford's Lost Ocean. What did I do next? The Sea Otter. Yeah, so I did Fragile World, Kirby Roseanne, and I did the Sea Otter from this. And again, I did parts of this on video, and I used my Everblend Ecoline markers to show how I used water-based brush markers. So I did all of the greens all based in that, the water's based in that, the otter is based in watercolour brush markers. And then what I did is I went in with polychromos over the top, and then the water, I don't know if you can pick it up, it's got a slight shimmer, and that's the Enchanted Shimmer acrylic over top coat, which has a blue blue tinge to it. Then there's stickles in the bubbles. The kind of wash over the top is Arteza metallic watercolour in a very, very silvery blue. Then the top of his head is actually just all pencil, because when I looked at a picture of a sea otter, the heads were much lighter in colour than their bodies. Had another go at fur with texture in the fur, and I think that's come out really lovely. And then this sky is actually iridescent gelatos in purple, blue and a silver colour with some Posca in there. And I really, my sea urchins, I originally did bright green. And then somebody said, oh, they're sea urchins. And I went, oh, yeah, sea urchins are blacky purple. So I went back over them with fine liners. But I really like the way this one came out. Thrilled with the sky. This is probably one of my favourites I've done in this book so far, I think. And I will definitely be using my Ecolognes again in here. Really, really like the way it turned out. So that was from Cubby Ranzan's Fragile World. Then, where is my... so this one is from A Million Unicorns. And as I said on my channel before, this was a second-hand purchase for me. And it was partially coloured. And so I decided to tackle a page which had been partially coloured. And I put on my Instagram, oh, this was second-hand. I tackled this page, it was partially coloured. Can you tell which bit was partially coloured? And someone commented, said, well, I think it's this, but I'm not sure. And I said, well, you'll have to watch my channel. So I can tell you that the bit that was partially coloured was this taxi here. Yellow taxi with green wheels and not very, you know, cleanly coloured. So I don't think you can quite tell, but everything else was me. So the water is all gel pen and watercolour paint. There's like a blue, was it? No, this was Arteza metallic watercolour, the kind of whitey green shift. I used Sakura Jelly Roll. I've got some other kind of sparkly gel pen. Then this bridge is KJ designed by Karen, and I think it's Earth or Neptune that I used for that. Then I used this was also KJ designed by Karen, and that was Mars for the sparkly bits on the towers. Then the clouds were all polychromos. All the other pencil work was polychromos. And then there's some Pentel Dual Hybrid. Oh no, I don't think that's Pentel Dual Hybrid. That's also watercolour. And then the background is, I think, it's Silky Crayons. Yeah, it's Silky Crayons in the background. Purple, a little bit of blue, and then some Posca pen. And I did a 1 minute short just showing you the finishing touches of this one. Just showing you the Posca pen bits, because I'm experimenting with shorts and longer type videos. But I have to say, I really, really like the way this came out. I like the different mediums, having fun with the different mediums. I like saving the page from where somebody else had coloured it. I mean, there's some where I'm just not going to be able to save them. I mean, this one, apart from going over with acrylic paint, which is the only thing I can think of, I'm not going to be able to save. And there's another one like that, which I'm just not going to be able to save. This one, I'm not going to be able to save. Or this one. But I could have a go with acrylic paint and see what happens. But you'll see. I will let you know when I do that. But yes, so it was just this taxi which had been coloured on this page, and the rest was all me. There was also some funny bits, like, I don't know if it was glue or funny textures, which made things go a bit funny here. But yeah, I really like the way that one turned out. A Million Unicorns by Lily Mayo. And then my final one for this month was from Die Welt unter der Lupe Zoolander. So the world under the microscope on land. And this was for a hashtag which was grey and rainbows. And also, there was also another hashtag this month, which was colour snails. So I killed two birds with one, so let's dive with this one. And I did this one. So I did all of the snails grey, all of the leaves grey, and there's some Pentel Dual Hybrid silvery grey. And then each of the shells has a different colour of the rainbow. And that is how I got around it. And it's very different for me to do something like that. I really kind of wanted, when I did this page, to mimic the colours, but I was like, no, I want to do this instead. So I had a lot of fun, and I really like the two pages together, actually. So yeah, that was for colours, grey and rainbows. And I think I coloured that with Arteza Expert pencils. It's gelatos in the background and lots of Pentel dual hybrid. So yeah, so that's my completed pages for the month of September. And for October, I'm going full on Halloween, pumpkins, witches, and autumnal. I've been looking through all my books this morning. I am going to do something in Minor Rise of Duck Asian. I'm just looking at that thinking, gosh, I don't know which one to start with. And it's quite overwhelming and quite scary. But if anyone likes a page in that book that they want me to do a colour along with, then do comment in the comments below. Have a good month, everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye.